Things work out as long as you're willing to work them out. So I heard a quote actually yesterday. Fear is a mile wide, but it's actually really only an inch deep. So fear is a mile wide, but an inch deep. I have so many experiences over the last 10, 15 years of being confronted with fear. Being a full-time artist, a dad with 4 kids, a wife who is working hard, staying at home, trying to organize our life and our world. It can be quickly overwhelming because here I'm trying to do this job as an artist, which is, I think, one of the harder jobs to do is be a full-time creative, especially when you want to create your own craft and not necessarily work for other people. But what I've learned with fear over the time is that quote exactly, and it reminded me of this time actually not too long ago, probably about 9 months ago, 10 months ago. For about 2.5 years I had been working on this NFT project, and the most I've ever spent on a project, the most time, the most money, just everything had been pouring into this project. And if you guys know anything about NFTs, it was a massive trending craze and it was insane. It was honestly a huge blessing for a lot of artists, myself included. But the big project I worked on for about 2 years, creating all this artwork and all this stuff, and it was super awesome. Long story short, when we went to release, it did okay, but lost a lot of money, lost a lot of momentum. I wouldn't call it a failure, but it didn't go as expected. It was nearing summertime, and every summer we go to Minnesota for a month and spend time with British grandparents. Coming off the hump of a project that I worked on for so many years, I put everything into it. I put a lot of other things on hold to kind of have that come to an end and not go totally as planned. The initial idea was work really hard for a couple years on this project, go spend time in Minnesota with the family, take a break, celebrate, all that. And you know what? It didn't go as planned. And I was met with a lot of fear, when your momentum stops and then you've got future plans with other people. What's wild is I just kept moving forward. And honestly, we were probably 2 weeks out from the trip. It was like super close. And then all of a sudden it was like, I got a flood of work. I got hit up by the mountain games, GoPro mountain games in Vail, reached out to me, asked if I would come to Vail, paint this mural for them, be involved, be on stage, do this talking stuff, which is crazy because it is on the way to Minnesota. They put my family up. It turned into this huge, amazing vacation with Vail at the front. Adobe hit me up literally a week before, wanted to do this brand deal with this new program that was coming out, Adobe Firefly and some AI stuff. And then Hershey's chocolate hit me up. So it was literally weeks before, not even weeks, it was literally a week or two before this trip, all this new work came in and flooded in. And a lot of that has to do with a couple things. One is I continued to move forward and do work, and I didn't let the fear paralyze me. And also, when you feel that fear, if you stop your momentum. And when you stop your momentum, life just can't work for you. And I'm a really firm believer that actually life wants to work for you, and everything in this world wants to give you exactly what you want. And a lot of times it does that, right? If I would have stopped reaching out to people, stopped doing my art every day, stopped practicing the craft, stopped going to the gym, just stopped all my habits that had been moving me along while I was working on this project, well, what do you think would happen? Everything in life would stop. What's funny is all of that work came and I was instantly, it's not like I forgot about the last couple years, but it was so funny how fast I forgot and moved on. And you realize things work out as long as you're willing to work them out. Legit, hands down to this day, it was the best trip I've ever taken with my family. A lot of growth came out of that trip. A lot of new things came out of that trip for me to focus on for this next year. All that I can say to you guys is if you feel that fear, realize it's very shallow. And if you just take a second, think about it, and keep moving forward, you'll realize it's really, really not that deep, and you can just go right through it. Build that momentum, because I really do believe life is waiting to give you exactly what you want. So you just have to be willing to go get it.